On this episode of Big Drive Energy, we're going to talk about Emiliano Grillo. I know it's not Grillo, it's Grillo. Emiliano Grillo's win on the PGA Tour this past week. Pretty shocking comeback on Sunday with all the guys at the top of the leaderboard. We're going to talk about Harold Varner III. We're Live boys. We stay supporting the Live Tour, so we're going to talk about his win at Trump in Washington, D.C. We're also going to discuss the JB Holmes incident, if you will, I guess, depending upon how you look at it. The story coming out from John Bradley's local club this past weekend. And we're going to create the perfect golfer. There was a tweet about it this week. I've actually had it in the archives for a while, and it seemed like a perfect week to get on it and create our own perfect golfers, adding in some style, some hair. You know, we're not lame and just going to talk stats. Like, we're going to talk style, as we're both styling in our Pins and Aces gear. This pod is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Pins and Aces. As you can see here, if you're listening to this pod, we are on YouTube. So head over to the YouTube and watch us. I got the sick man bun today, and I don't look bald in this new studio that we're in, so it's fire.
Lights doing you some favors.
Lights are doing me some favors. I look a lot tanner than I normally do. But check out pinsandaces.com. Use promo code BDE for 15% off. As you guys can see here, we just released the DNVR polo right down there from Pins and Aces. This is not the first collab. Oh, no, it is the first collab that we've done with them, but not the last. So Pins and Aces has the beer sleeve, the liquor stick, all of that good stuff. So check it out at pinsandaces.com. Promo code BDE. Also, if you put your orders in on like Tuesday, they have Warehouse Wednesday, which is they give away a bunch of free stuff on Wednesdays for people that put their orders in on Tuesday. So make sure to check that out on a Tuesday, pinsandaces.com, promo code BDE. All right, let's tee it up.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any.
What was that, Chair? Did somebody scream mashed potatoes?
That was mashed.
8 under winning another event. Like, is Colonial that hard?
No, it's not that
Just a bunch
hard.
of shit players?
Yeah, just a weak field. I mean, it was hard for Michael Block. If we're being real.
Being real honest,
If
dude,
you
don't talk about him too much. He might cry.
Yeah. Oh, he'll
He might
bust
cry
out the
about it.
waterworks. I can only imagine what he did when he saw his family.
I get to see my kids tonight.
He just melted into a puddle. He's
What a
been on
fucking
tour for a
lame-o.
week and a half.
What a lame.
But you know, everybody's always talked about like we should put a 10 handicapper out there just as like a proxy.
Oh my God.
That was
Don't
like
go there.
that was
Don't go
like
there.
Michael Block
That's
this
so
week.
fucked up.
It was a dude that, yes, he played very well. He played as well as he possibly could PGA Championship week. And then obviously got a lot of media attention, went on a bunch of different shows, said things he probably shouldn't have said about. Have we talked about the
No, let's recap. Let's dive.
Yeah,
into
so the biggest comment he made was that Bob Menery, not trying to plug him or anything, it was just all over social media. Bob Menery asked him, he's like, obviously Rory's better than you. And he almost baited him into it a little bit. Like he wanted him to say that he wasn't, or like Rory wasn't better than him, but he goes, no, Rory isn't better than me. He just hits it further than me. He goes, if I hit it as far as Rory, I would be one of the best in the world. My short game, my iron game, this and that. And then goes out and shoots, I think, 80 the first day and then 74 the second day at Colonial, which is, he even said it in the interview, it's a ball striker's course. You don't need distance. You need accuracy. and you need a short game, and he showed up with neither of those tools in his bag. So,
Dude, straight DFL.
Yeah.
By 3 shots over Harry Higgs.
He looked horrible. But I don't want to drag him too bad, but it's just justice for, even if somebody tees that up for you, literally, you don't say that you're better than Rory. You don't. And this was kind of like the debate all week with him at the PGA was, at first everyone's like, oh, we love him, this and that. And then he's like, no, I can compete out here. And everybody's like, no, you can't. And like, then I kind of started to dislike him, and then I liked him again. And then I kind of ended up not liking him. It just, do you think the media ruined it? Like, did he do too much, or could he have like just stopped doing all these interviews? I'm sure he wasn't getting paid. Like, he was doing all this stuff unpaid. He was on like Pat McAfee, probably on the Today Show. He was on ESPN. He was all over like the sports world.
Yeah, I think it was a little overplayed for where he ended up actually finishing. Like, I'm going to sit here from this fucking comfy chair behind a mic and say that it's easy to be 15th at the PGA Championship. That's not easy. But I think that it was overblown how, like, he shot a couple of even par rounds. This wasn't an event where the winner was 25 under and he was 22 or 23. Like
yeah, there's a different,
to an even par golf course is much easier, even in a major championship, than going out and competing at another course that I guess was pretty close to even par. A couple of our guys, top 10s that we had in Ricky Fowler and Sam Burns were only 5 under in there, and you get a top 10 off of that. But as you can see, Colonial, which he thought may fit his game, and he finishes DFL, like, that is just a detriment to how tough the game is, first of all, and we've talked about that a million times.
A testament or a detriment?
Testament. My vocabulary is very. It's like a 7th grade.
His golf game was a detriment.
His golf game was a detriment to the testament that golf is hard.
Oh wow,
there we go.
That's too many words to unpack.
Basically, just saying they overblew how great he played, like, for the whole PGA Championship, and then making a hole in one, I think, added to that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I think he got caught in a wave of just soaking that in, and he's going to go back and he's probably crying because of all the lessons he's now backed up on for multiple weeks. I would be. I get nervous every 30-minute lesson I have. I'm like, what if I can't help this person?
In over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, like somebody that you don't know, and you're just like, I don't know if I can help you. You're going to pay me, and I don't know if I'm going to help you.
Yeah, he had a little bit of like arrogance about him, but I think one of the biggest things too with him was just the general letdown of like, he was only prepared to play in the PGA. Like, that's a PGA Pro's Super Bowl. So imagine like you take one of the Super Bowl teams this year and you're like, oh, you have to go play a game next week that's not as important, but it's beneficial for you to play. It's not a great comparison, but I'm sure there's so much buildup for him playing in that event in the PGA to then he's like, oh, I'm going to play again next week. And it's one of those things where I don't blame him for not turning it down. But like Shannon Sharp has talked about this, and Michael Block could have done this also. Shannon Sharp always had the mindset of like, he retired early. He cut his career short. And he was like, I knew I couldn't do it, but I wanted everybody else to still think I could do it. If I was Michael Block, I may have not played at Colonial just to leave on that finish. Like, everybody thinks I'm the man. Like Mike White with the Jets, his one start where he was phenomenal, and everyone's like, oh, he's going to be their next starter, this and that. And then, I mean, he goes out and shits the bed the next 5 games, and everyone's like, oh, okay, so that one start wasn't really who he is. Like, he would have been better off never playing another game after that. And it's like a tale as old as time. Cardale Jones back in whatever year that was had that one phenomenal game. So I think it's definitely a buildup for him to the point where he was just like a deflated balloon walking around Colonial, and he's probably short on fucking sodium from all that crying he was doing. I don't know how he didn't cramp up walking around out there in that Texas heat, but it was overall, I think he got what he deserved. I hate to say that, but he deserved to be humbled a little bit, because everybody thinks that they're a world-class golfer until you got to be out there doing world-class golf things, and he clearly is not in that position.
Yeah, he probably should hit more than one bucket. Did he only hit one bucket of balls, you think, between...
He's probably worn out with all the golf. I mean, that's a real thing, too. Like, I'm playing 3 rounds of golf this weekend in 2 days, and I'm sticking to chipping practice only. Like, I don't want to even hit a bucket because I'm going to be fucking worn out.
All right.
And maybe that's because of the
boys.
physical shape I'm in, but it's also just, I honestly feel, and maybe he felt this way too, where his game was better when he practiced less. And then all of a sudden he's playing full-time tour pro for a week. And he's like, fuck, like, I don't want to go hit 200 balls and chip for 6 hours. Like, it could have made his game worse. You never know.
It's a lot more fun to hit balls after you've just given like 3-hour lessons. You're like, oh, I've been watching this shitty golf. I can hit a few myself.
You just want to see one go straight and get up in the air.
Yeah, one get airborne.
Yeah, it's a great confidence booster.
But no, Emiliano Grillo with a 68 the last day. Adam Schenk kind of shanked his way around the golf course, had a 2-shot lead going into Sunday, and it was really just kind of a hodgepodge of, like, if you ask the average golf watcher, the top 5 players, they know one of them, and that's Scotty.
Yeah.
Who's, by the way, finished top 20 in every single event he's like played in like 2 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
I saw a tweet that said if you bet $100 on Scotty Scheffler to top 20 and just kept rolling that over, you'd now have like 21 grand.
Yeah.
Just for every tournament, if you just rolled it over and bet that on the next tournament, the next tournament, the next tournament. I did want to give that out this week on the DraftKings Sportsbook just to like know that I have a winner in the bag, but it was, I don't even know if they
I think he's like
minus
-175 to top 10.
Oh, so him being top 20 has just got to be an absolute disaster.
It's probably -500. It's like the Nuggets.
-300.
It's the Nuggets in the Heat.
-300 Nuggets over Heat. We are going to an NBA Finals game tomorrow.
We are.
Cannot contain my excitement. But so Adam Schenk, Scotty Scheffler, Harry Hall. Dude, what the fuck is that guy?
Dude, Harry Hall, he looks like he looks like Thomas Shelby.
Oh,
he even got I heard Peaky Blinders yell or screams after he hit shots because he's got the old school hat. He had the mustache, or no, just the goatee, I think. No mustache, just a goatee. I wouldn't recommend that for your average person, but I guess he pulls it off. It's the man that makes the facial hair, not the facial hair that makes the man, correct?
Not for me.
No.
Because I am without a beard, whatever you call this.
Just hair on your face.
I'm literally a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
With a double chin.
Yeah. This camera angle would not, it's already not great for me, but it'd be even worse.
No, it'd be horrible. I'd be that's why I have to have a beard. I don't even know if my beard's good. I use a lot of Manscaped products just for the record, but
yeah,
the overarching thing about my beard is that it hides my double chin. It's not because it's a good beard.
For sure. No, I mean, and there's reasons everyone has their facial hair, but I don't see an exact reason to have just a little goatee. It's not a great look.
Well, so this does make me feel better, and this may be a super is there a thing called nationalistic? Where you don't like countries, you know, like you can be racist, you can be sexist, you can
possibly.
He's from England,
yeah.
So that makes me feel like a million times better about the way he looks.
Yeah, no, he's like on brand for his.
Yeah, like
country.
I thought that was an American dude, and I was like actually kind of upset about it.
Well, that's like Bryson DeChambeau before he.
And he's only 25.
Holy shit!
The dude
I thought
looks
he was
like he's
30.
40.
Yeah, I thought he was 30
Okay,
plus.
I actually respect this dude's swag way more now.
Yeah. No, he's a legit player. He actually
3 top 10s this year.
He had it to 12 under through 2 days, so he kind of fell back, struggled on the weekend. He's still, like you said, he's trending in the right direction, but he hasn't gotten that win yet. But the weekend played very tough. If you've got the leader going back more than 4 shots in 2 days, Friday going in at 12 under into the weekend. And then what did he end up at? 6 under?
7. So he shot 72, 73 on the weekend, which at a par 70.
On a par 70, yeah. So he did not have himself a great weekend, but overall, it was another one of those kind of build-ups before what is now the Memorial Week, which is an awesome week every year. Everybody just talks about the milkshakes at Jack's Place, but it's a great golf course. We'll get into it. I do want to talk about, because if I'm being dead honest, I tuned in to Live this week more than I tuned into the PGA Tour.
Whoa, you're hitting up the C-dubs?
The CW, yeah.
Wow.
Right after Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Did they cut the coverage short?
No, I didn't watch. Is it Sunday or Saturday is the last day? I don't know what the last day of their tournament is.
No one knows.
You just turn it on and it's just the second round or whatever. But Harold Varner III. So the golf course itself is actually very cool. Allie, what is that river that runs through Washington, D.C., the big one? Potomac. The Potomac, yeah. So it was, thank you. It was right on the Potomac River. Very cool golf course. Very, very challenging golf course by the looks of it. There's a par 3 that was right up next to the water where there was literally like 3 feet of grass between hazard and the edge of the green. And it was a little bit windy. So overall, and honestly, like I like watching the Live too, because then you can see the national media isn't really talking about it, but then you can see who's playing well, like building up to the US Open, you know? So you look at like Live guys odds on the DraftKings Sportsbook and you can be like, oh, this guy's playing really well, but his odds feel a little bit inflated. Like they're not catching on to that. You know what I mean? So like Harold Varner III is a world-class player, and he's only, I think this is his second worldwide win. I think he won in Dubai,
Oh yeah, that was the one where he made like the 60-footer.
Yeah, he made like a 90-footer off the green. And then he won this last week at Trump in Washington, D.C. So I was very interested in that just from the standpoint of challenging golf course. It's a fun watch.
64 in the opening round. Like, that's no joke.
No, he went very low, and then I think the last 2 days were kind of just holding on.
72, 68.
Yeah. So, but overall, it interests me for sure, and I think Liv has done this where they set themselves up on weeks where the PGA Tour kind of has a down week. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going head-to-head. Like, it's kind of like golf versus football. You know, golf has wised up and change their scheduling to not, you know, football's always going to win versus golf. And that's kind of the thing. Like if you have a big PGA Tour event versus a Live event, the PGA Tour event's going to get most of the coverage, the eyeballs, all that. But then you put it on a week where the PGA Tour is on kind of a down week, and I don't really know what the numbers look like, but I assume they're doing that for more viewers.
Yeah, well, and you can even break that down more into like Live and PGA finishing on a Saturday normally. As like, okay, nobody wants, you know, you're probably going to lose some eyes on a Sunday round if you're going head to head. But if you're going on a Saturday, you're not going to get the same, you're not going to have to worry about it. And of course they had to schedule it around the majors. So they're already looking at the PGA Tour schedule.
Yeah.
You know, these two are such competitors now. There's obviously clearly a loser right now, or a less competitive one, I should say, from the nation standpoint. You know, you ask any individual person.
Public.
Exactly. The general public standpoint, clearly the Live Tour is not quite the PGA Tour, but they've done the right things in terms of paying attention to, all right, when are we going to finish? What are we going to do differently? They literally created the Live Tour to do everything. It's like if you got a redo in life. Greg Norman basically went, you know, I went back and I didn't, you know, date this girl in 6th grade because that was a bad idea. So I dated this other girl, and then it spiraled into this and that. So like they're redoing everything that they know. They're creating the same product. You're creating the same life. I just made a great analogy, I think, by the way.
You lost me.
Okay,
but keep going.
Greg Norman creating the Live Tour, he's basically going back on everything.
He learned from all the PGA Tour mistakes.
Yeah, so he's rewriting history by creating the Live Tour and doing exactly what he wants to do differently. It's the same thing, still a professional golf tour. Yeah. But what is he doing? Making it shorter, letting him wear shorts, all the other things that players don't like. Like, he has the upper hand, and he has money behind him, which is the number
that
one.
definitely helps. One thing I did hear, though, is that, and maybe I was in the dark on this, and I don't know why I didn't know this, but if the Live Tour just went to 72 holes, they could apply for world golf ranking points.
Yeah, well, interesting you say that. So this article I'm reading right now, just talking about the Live final results, prize money payout, leaderboard, blah blah blah. It says like very just a matter of fact. Varner III earned no official world golf ranking points with the win. The official world golf rankings does not offer points to 54 hole events above the developmental level.
Yeah,
like just that's like the first thing you read.
Oh, okay. So that, I mean, I don't know if they had made that public, and Live is just like, that is the one frustrating thing is they're like, why won't you give us world golf ranking points? This is a rule that was made, you know, they knew this going in. So that kind of bugs me now that Live continues to complain about no world golf ranking points when they're basically asking the rules of golf to change the rules for them. Versus like they're not directly shutting Live out, but they basically are saying these were the rules, you know, play by them or don't. So that's annoying now that Live is like complaining about that.
Right, because like we just talked about, they've done everything to be different and make the product more enjoyable for the players.
Yeah.
Except for just adhering to that rule. And maybe it was the 54 hole thing was just such a big draw for them. That was like, you know, you have to weigh your options type of scenario.
Yeah, I don't really think one more round, like these guys are all used to playing 4 rounds. I don't think they would have a problem. I think the more condensed schedule and the more time off is really what matters. Like these guys are already on site. Like what's them playing one more day? You know what I mean? It's not going to really hurt anything for them all to play another day, and then they get their world golf ranking points, and who knows who else that would attract if they do get world golf ranking points, like, and you can go to Live and still, you know, earn your way into the Ryder Cup. And that's a whole other topic, which was hilarious.
I was just about to segue into that, actually, and thanks for coming to our Live TED Talk again. But John Rahm said this weekend, it's a little sad, quote, "It's a little sad to me that politics have gotten in the way of such a beautiful event. Again, it's the best Europeans against the best Americans, period. Whatever is going on, whoever's playing Live and who's not playing Live, to me, it shouldn't matter." Guys like this are, anybody can say this. Guys with that level of importance going on tournaments after he's done playing and talking to the media and being the PGA Tour guy, like his words have weight.
Oh yeah, they definitely mean something, I would think. And I think when it comes down to just winning the Ryder Cup, like it's golf in its purest form. You want the best players on that team, and John Rahm's going to be a part of the, you know, the European team, and he wants to play with those best players. And I really think it's relatively on the European Tour side, is there anybody on Live? I mean, I think only Henrik Stenson would qualify right now, or is playing well enough to maybe get a captain's pick. But a lot of the guys on the Live Tour, it wouldn't affect the European team near as much as it would affect the U.S. team, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S.
Like Cam Smith wouldn't be?
No,
there?
that's Australia. He plays the President's Cup.
Oh, so he just gets straight boned out of the whole deal.
No, I
thought it was more like America versus the world.
No, that's President's Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a golf podcast, so let's get informed. But yeah, it wouldn't affect the European team near as much as it would affect the U.S. team, because you've got Brooks, you know, potentially Patrick Reed, potentially Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson.
Like the U.S. Ryder Cup,
potentially
team
Harold
for
Varner.
the last 10 years, 15
exactly.
years.
So it would affect the U.S. team greatly, and relatively speaking, and it will change like the history of the Ryder Cup, because then all of these Ryder Cups going forward could be looked at, if they don't allow Live players, could be looked at as, you know, well, it wasn't all the best players in the world. So it's like a situation we've never had before, which just keeps right on par with the entire Live Tour in general. It's all these things we've never seen before, and it'll be easier once we watch it happen. But for now, you can just speculate.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. If you were like under a rock for since Live started, and you look at this Live leaderboard, Varner, Grace, Mito, Munoz, Stenson, Oosthuizen, Nah, Ogletree, DeChambeau, you're like, holy fuck, what a stacked PGA Tour event.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that is another reason why I would rather watch Live, is because this weekend specifically is it's just more household recognizable names. And maybe that's the consumer's problem. I probably need to do better research on Adam Schenk and Harry Hall and, all these guys. Like, they just, I don't think these guys on the PGA Tour for the most part are stars. And then you have a guy, Scotty Scheffler, that is a star that you can't really market because he doesn't have a personality. Like, you can't
He's not compelling enough.
He's not. I was
just saying the Nuggets whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're not compelling enough.
Oh,
to talk
I know.
about.
And I sound like everybody in the national media.
But you're not wrong.
No,
in this instance.
Yeah. But I think if we're comparing Jokic to Scotty Scheffler, I think Jokic has done more funny shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Scotty Scheffler, like, he loves his wife. He kisses his wife all the time. He loves Jesus. So does every high school baseball coach. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, if Scotty Scheffler had 2 UFC fighting brothers with a criminal record, then I'd be interested.
Yeah. That color me interested.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. So
yeah,
100%. Scotty's very vanilla. You've got guys out on the PGA Tour. Emiliano Grillo is actually a fun watch, though. I do like the guy. He's I think he's Argentinian.
That is correct. The blue flag or white flag, blue stripes at the top with
a little
sun.
Gold in the middle.
I think it's a sun.
Is it? Oh, well done. We're getting better at our well, I don't know if that's necessarily geography, but he is actually fun to watch. 5, 6, 7 years ago, he was a top 20 player in the world. So I've actually bet him a few times. Of course, I did not bet him this week.
No.
So naturally, he would win.
Struck out this week, but we were coming off a winner, dude. What can you expect?
Yeah, we're Michael Balkin, and it's just the letdown after the big dance. So we're ramping back up for this week.
Yeah, Memorial is going to be great. It's a great watch. You want to let's just get into our picks now, since we've kind of been talking about current PGA Tour. So if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, head over to @BigDriveEnergyPod on the Insta. We post our picks every week on Wednesday, so you have time to get over to the DraftKings Sportsbook and place those bets. We are currently, like I said, off a winner. I've won 2 PGA championships in a row. No big deal.
Not a big deal.
But we are, every week we'll give you a couple guys in the top 10.
Yeah.
We haven't actually had a week where we've completely struck out in, I don't know if we've had one this year. So we give you 3 players. You bet them how you want, but we're betting them to win in top 10 in all of these events. So I'm going to start. The DraftKings was giving us a nice little boost. Patrick Cantlay, man, and just can't not bet him at Memorial. Like, he's won it twice. He is plus 1,000 to win it because, once again, we've got one of these events where you've got 2 idiotic lines with Scheffler and Rahm that are not worth taking. So we find the value right below that, and that is with Patrick Cantlay. He is plus 1,250 with the boost to win and plus 115 to top 10. Sungjae Im, kind of a down year. I think he either finished dead last or was close to dead last in the PGA Championship.
Oh, wow.
But he's got the right game for Jack's place.
He was actually kind of he's a great iron player. He was on my radar. It was a close pick for me because I think he's got some good value there.
Yeah, and then Denny McCarthy or Sungjae Im is plus 3,500 to win and plus 320 to top 10. Denny McCarthy, he's not going to win this event. I'm telling you right now. I'm just giving you his odds to win the event at plus 10,000. Hopefully this is a clip where I was wrong. If he wins at plus
That'd be great.
10,000, we're going to Cabo
We could
next
lose
week.
the rest of the year and still be up.
100%. So, and he's plus, this is where the value is for me, is he's plus 750 to top 10. So, I mean, Denny McCarthy's that guy that you're like, who's this dude? He's at the top of the leaderboard again.
Yeah.
It's usually Thursday, Friday, but...
Or I was going to say, he could be one of those guys where he shoots 4 or 5 under Sunday and makes a jump,
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about golf, the top 10 bets. Like, you still have... We didn't have a prayer this last week. I mean, we had a prayer, I should say. It was a Hail Mary, if you will. But then we finished with 2 guys firmly in the top 5 with Ricky and Sam Burns. So it wasn't like... It looked bleak, but it can look bleak on Friday, and that's why golf bets are fun. They're 4-day bets.
Yeah.
How could you not like a 4-day bet?
Yeah, they're definitely like the opposite of instant gratification. It's like a futures almost. For that week. So I do like a good golf bet. Is that...
That's it. Denny McCarthy plus 10,000, plus 750, Sungjae Im, and Patrick Cantlay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm getting sucked into the Xander Schauffele hype again. The dude stays not winning, and I just think he's going to win. There's a moth floating.
Control in the studio.
Yeah, that Spencer needs to kill that. So Xander Schauffele is only plus 1,200 to win, plus 140 top 10. I do feel like he is a pretty good top 10 bet. I mean, he's only plus 140, but there's an outside chance he wins this at plus 1,200. I do think he will win this year. He's playing good golf. So it's just a matter of catching him on the right week. Okay, I'm going to go Jason Day in his home. Oh, everyone's scared of the moth. Jason Day plus 2,500 in his home state. He loves Ohio. Australian in Ohio couldn't be more opposite, but he loves it there. He's played well at Jack's Place before. So he's plus 2,500 to win, plus 240 to top 10. And then I have Tom Kim, who, if you remember, late last year, early this year, he was at the top of every single DraftKings odds list. You know, he's plus 1,500, plus 2,200 to win. Like, he's got that kind of game, and maybe he's not playing his best golf right now, but you never know. He's a great iron player, and Jack's Place sets up for just a ball striking clinic. So I've got him plus 5,500 to win, plus 450 top 10.
I just realized I typed in Tom M.
No. Oh, instead of Sanjay?
Yeah.
Or instead of Kim?
Tom Kim.
Oh, geez.
So
Nice.
Tom M is on the graphic. Well done. Good typing from me at 8 a.m. this morning. So before we get into this crazy sandbagging story and our creative golfer, which is one, like I said, I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is, you know, when we have these ideas and we have these great ideas just chambered, and sometimes you just got to open the clip. And this is a week where we're just going to open the clip and check this out on the YouTube. You get the visual representation of myself and Mitchell, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a real
for your
treat.
viewing pleasure. But we want to tell you guys about Manscaped, and I mentioned them already. It's hot as shit out right now, and every time I play golf, I've got golf balls in my bag, I've got tees, and I've got the crop mop. It is phenomenal. It makes your balls feel extremely refreshed. I'm actually going to, now that I think about it, I might bring an extra crop mop for my golf ball and see what that does. You know, like,
you trying to get a competitive advantage?
Maybe
Trying
that
to cheat?
Manscaped definitely gives you a competitive advantage no matter where you are.
That's a
you
fact.
like that? You like that?
Well done.
But no, they have the Lawnmower 4.0, which has a light on it. Incredible. You can shave in the shower. It's waterproof. It makes it so much easier during the summer to be able to shave your entire nether regions with Manscaped and the Lawnmower 4.0. They have the whole Performance Package 4.0, which comes with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver, which tones your balls. I've been trying to tone my arms lately, and maybe I should start trying to tone my balls with the anti-chafing ball deodorant moisturizer, because we know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing a bathing suit or golf pants all day. There's also the Weed Whacker 2.0 with that trims your nose hairs. I've been having like this weird nose hair issue lately. Like,
It's called getting old.
I can just feel them, dude, and I just like
Yeah, dude.
I just remember seeing when I was a kid, I'd see like an 80-year-old dude, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" And now I'm like,
Yeah,
I know what the
I got
fuck
hair
that is.
growing on my ears. Like, shit is fucked up.
That's why you take the Weed Whacker 2.0 and get in your ears, bro.
I'm not getting in my ears. I'm talking out. I don't need to hurt myself, but I have seen a stray hair on like the top of my ear, and I'm like, holy shit. I should just call the funeral service place now, because I'm
Set up the burial.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking old.
And Father's Day is also coming up very soon.
It's a great gift.
A great gift for Father's Day. The whole
Because a lot of older guys don't manscape even. They don't know what that is.
maybe
so.
that's like one of those. What is a gift you give somebody when you want them to like do something?
Yeah, no,
You
like
know,
that.
like I don't. Is there a word for that? No, it's just a
Like,
gift you give somebody.
kind of
but
like
you know
with,
what I'm talking
with
about.
underlying, like you buy your wife a new vacuum.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I have 6 vacuums, by the way, at my house if you ever need a vacuum. It's fucking ridiculous.
But yeah, no, like if your significant other, you want them to trim it up, you get them the Manscaped.
Yeah, and you just tell
It's a great gift.
You just tell them, hey, just looking out for you.
Yeah.
But go over to manscaped.com, use the promo code DNVR, and allow the father in your life or Poppy to be able to trim themselves equitably for you in your endeavors. And
Did you just go off script, or is that
that was off script? That was completely off
okay,
script.
so that's
how
why
I
it
normally live. But going back onto script with Colorado Golf Association, if you sign up with the code DNVR5, you can join over 75,000 golfers with the Colorado Golf Association, receive official USGA handicap. Speaking of handicaps, that's what we'll get into here with John Bradley Holmes. But you can get an official handicap. His was clearly not official. With the CGA, they have a bunch of member play days and playing exclusive courses around our home state of Colorado, like Aspen Glen, Ravenna, the Pinery, and more. You get exclusive member content with offers and discounts from a bunch of different companies, like even PGA Superstore. So join the Colorado Golf Association by visiting coloradogolf.org. Use the code DNVR, get $5 off your membership, which helps save you on a handicap. If you want to go play in those golf tournaments this year, you need a handicap. You need one. Even for some scrambles or scrabbles, as JB Holmes calls them on Twitter, you need a handicap. So if you want to play better golf, you can track your handicap, see how much better or worse, hopefully not, you're getting. See your local PGA professional. But Colorado Golf can help you do that if you are in this great state. You get $5 off your membership with DNVR5. All right, speaking of handicaps, John Bradley Holmes, lay it out there for us. Act like I have never heard this story before.
Yeah, so, well, basically, it came to be that he was found out at one of his local clubs at home playing in they call it a gangsome. That sounds kind of fucked up, honestly, if we're being real.
There's some fucked up terms in golf that if you hear them and you're like somebody says something, you're like,
you need to know it's golf.
Yeah, like a gangsome.
Yeah.
That's the difference between, that's like a gangbang and a foursome.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where my head went with that. But no, it's just a scramble with 6 players. So I don't know why they had to call it that. But it is Tennessee, so everyone with their above ground pools out there and whatever they like to do in their free time. But basically, JB Holmes signed up for this gangsome with 5 other guys, and it's a Calcutta. Well, that sounds even worse.
He showed up to the gangsome. 5 other men were present.
I'm here for the gangbang. But he signs up under, technically, and this is kind of smart because it's technically JB John Bradley is his name. Nobody knew that. I rubbed my 2 brain cells together really hard and figured that out. But he signed up under that name. And about halfway through the last day, because they bought their own team, and I think the winner was going to walk with like $21,000.
Yeah. Well, real quick, explain a Calcutta. So this isn't a Calcutta event. They're very high profile. I mean, clear if you got a fucking PGA Tour, former 5-time PGA Tour winner playing in one, he's clearly had some gambling issues or something.
Yeah, he must be hard up for some cash. That's
exactly.
I'm shocked John Daly hasn't done this. Preggsy's too recognizable. But basically a Calcutta, you can do it however many days, but before the last day, there's an auction where you can buy your team, or somebody else can buy your team, or, you can combine with somebody else and buy shares in your team. And basically it's like a share of a stock. If you buy the entire thing and they win, you win all the money. So generally I would say most teams buy themselves if they can afford it. And so they bought themselves, of course. And then halfway through the round on Sunday, one of the guys is like, I recognize that dude's golf swing. And so they called him over. Basically they had a chat, and they landed on, they couldn't play for the money. They could still win the event. So they didn't end up walking away with the money. They won the event. Apparently JB Holmes created a Twitter account just to tweet out his trophy. I don't know if he had any.
No, he's had this account since 2010. He has 61,000 followers.
Oh shit! Does he not have a?
But he has no avatar.
Yes, that's what. Okay, I was like, is this a bot or what? But yeah, he tweeted out the trophy, and
I'll read the tweet. I did place Scrabble under my real name, so
that's on brand.
That's after a few whiskeys for sure. John Bradley. It was bring your best team, and we had the best team with a picture of the trophy case, gang some champions, 2 guns, pretty awesome trophy actually. And I think it's between. I'm trying to see if this is.
Let me see.
A PGA Tour event trophy. Really good podcast.
I think that's a Ryder.
That's why you should be on the YouTube.
I think that's a Ryder Cup.
Oh, it could be the 2. He's won 2 Ryder Cups.
I think that, yeah.
Or been part of 2 winning Ryder Cup teams.
I think that's what it was.
So he puts the gangsome. The gangsome's getting gangbanged by the Ryder Cup trophies. Now that is a fucking trophy with 2 guns on it.
Yeah, no,
Nothing
it is
says
a pretty
JB
cool.
Holmes more than that.
Right. Oh, 100%. He
But-
probably appreciates that trophy more than his Ryder Cup trophies.
New development. So that has 436,000 views. New development, though, 5 hours ago, he said, LOL, these stories are hilarious. Keep them coming. No one has got it right yet.
Oh, wow. Well,
He could be lying, too.
Yeah, Monday Q Info had somebody reach directly out to him from his club and kind of walk him through the entire story. So he's probably just a little embarrassed at this point that he got caught. And it kind of poses the question, like, do you think it's bullshit? Okay, we also have to preface it. He was listed as an 8.8 because of your 6 players in your group, only 2 could be plus handicaps. So they were clearly breaking the rules there. I feel like if he was listed as a +5, then it's fair ball game. Like the tournament I'm playing in this weekend, I'm playing off scratch. I might be sandbagging a hair, but I'm not playing off a 10. Like if I was playing off a 10, I would boat race everybody. So like JB Holmes being a tour player playing off an 8.8 is a very far reach. But as the principle of him playing in it, I think I don't really have a problem with it. Obviously the story is great, but overall it's just the handicap that really is the issue for me personally.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I get a little, for the story, it's hilarious, but JB Holmes has, and this is one of my favorite sayings. I asked our good friend Sean back in the day for strokes, and basically like, hey, can I have a couple? I was probably in high school, and he goes, "You got 2 arms and 2 legs, just like me. We're fucking playing straight up." And so that has always kind of stuck with me. Like, it's not fair. I'm fully aware of the base level of that statement being not fair, and that's why there are handicaps. ColoradoGolf.org to get yours today. But
you're also trying to win every bet before you even tee off number 1.
Me?
No.
Anyone.
If you're a good gambler.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm like trying to give, make the other person not pissed off.
Yeah, no, that's
just
fair.
A pleaser.
But just as a general good gambling practice on the golf course, you want to win. You want to get as many strokes or give as few strokes as you want. So I think JB definitely overreached a little bit. Is that even a word? Overreached?
I think so. I've seen that typed
Okay.
out. The funny thing is so one of the members said they didn't break any rules for having a pro on their team. What they did do is lie and cheat the fellow members by signing him up under a different name.
Correct.
And that's what I think
and the handicap.
And that's why it's so weird of why they decided to do that.
Yeah,
what
like
was
if
the
they
point
didn't
of
have a
that?
problem with, probably because they're not getting strokes, or if even if it's a gross game, they still had 2 other plus handicaps on their team. So that's really the problem. And everybody just loves to get poopy pants over better golfers beating them and like, oh, that shouldn't be allowed. Like, he's just beat you. Just get better. I think Sean also told me that at one point when I lost to him. He's like, just get better,
Yeah, he was just like playing the same golf course from the same tees as you are. He's just better than you are. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think, obviously all the real details aren't in here, but if he was making like 6 birdies around and at an 8,
I'm sure he was.
Right. And that's where it gets to be.
They're down there 400 yards off the tee and everyone's looking around like, who the fuck did they bring out here? So it is kind of hard because JB Holmes at one point was leading the tour in driving distance. So he's not your Denny McCarthy, your Adam Schenk, your known, like there's probably 100 dudes that are out on tour right now that you could bring to an event I'm playing in. I wouldn't recognize them.
Oh yeah.
And I don't say I cover golf, but I talk about golf like weekly.
Yeah. And I wonder if he like changed his appearance at all. Like that would make it even more hilarious. Cause I feel like, JB Holmes, there are some low level tour. I mean, this dude's won 5 times on tour, so he's not even a low-level player, but I feel like that's a pretty recognizable dude.
Yeah, his swing is super unique. Do you know what probably happened is he was probably holding up the groups behind him because he's so fucking slow. And they were like, God damn, who else plays this slow? And then JB
then they call the pros out, and then they see his golf swing. And they're like, oh, you're fucked.
Yeah, they're like, you're going to have to play faster if we want you to blend in, JB, because this is taking us 6 hours.
There is a bunch of funny little innuendos about this story. I do think, going back to what we originally said, the fact that he's out there playing a 6-man scramble at a local course in Franklin, Tennessee for $30K is... Dude's got to be down bad.
No, I think it was probably a favor to one of his buddies, honestly. Or maybe he lost like a poker game and they're like, you know, if I beat you, you have to come play in this tournament with me. You know, he probably either lost a bet to a buddy or it's a favor because there's no way. I don't know if you can spend the money he's made in Franklin, Tennessee at once.
Yeah, I guess if there's casinos and strip clubs, JB Holmes was probably.
That's true. He strikes me as just a down home dude with like a stalk of wheat hanging out of his mouth and like some overalls on his tractor.
Okay.
You know,
I see that.
Out in the field. He's a country bumpkin.
I do see that.
Yeah.
His spelling is straight out of Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I like playing Scrabbles too.
Who knows what grade did he go to college?
That's a good question. Probably not. Speaking of Scrabbles, though, we have a Scrabble coming up here July 21st at Broken T Golf Club here in Denver, Colorado. We had the PHNX Keeping It 100 event, and dude, I'm telling you what, like, working a golf tournament is awesome. I got a great TikTok. Shout out to Ali Monroy for the idea. I got a great TikTok coming out, or I think it's great, so we'll see. It'll probably do 2,000 views. But setting up a tournament is fun, and then playing in it is also fun, but I had to just work it. I didn't have to. I just decided to make sure. Oh, he went to University of Kentucky. That also makes a lot of sense.
That checks out.
The working a tournament when it's that hot out is a fucking disaster. We had to move like tables with like gear on it 50 times because the sun was cooked. My computer wasn't working. That's how hot it was.
Yeah,
I had to move my computer inside because I was trying to do things and like set things up and I couldn't do it. It was that hot out. When you're playing golf, yeah, it's still hot. You're making swings, so you're even hotter, but you're sitting in the car, you're driving, you're drinking. I was just sitting out in the hot sun baking like a piece of bacon, literally. I was just cooking. But the tournament was awesome, and we have a tournament.
Any sun on that forehead, I can see.
No, I had a hat on, Pins and Aces hat for the record.
Of course.
But the our golf Scrabble is July 21st, Broken T Golf Club. Spots are already filling up, and it's 2 months out, so make sure you're getting signed up for that. Head over to thednvr.com under golf tournaments, under events. You'll be able to find that. Come join us. We're going to have a great time out there that day. Broken T is an awesome new potential sponsor partner as of now, so check out Broken T Golf Club if you ever get the chance. We played out there last week, actually.
We did.
Fucking challenging. The back nine is tough. There's some tight holes, dude. Tight.
It just hits you all at once. You go from
just hit both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no,
tight.
it gets tight there on the back nine for tight. Sure. I'm talking about golf, but yeah, no, it's getting in good shape too. The some of the greens were a little bit like coming back from the winter, but that's just Colorado.
Yeah, it's just
Colorado in May.
Colorado in May. It's still May for one more day.
Yeah, last day
of May. Couple hours. All right, let's get into creating our favorite golfer. Now, this is where you need to head to the YouTube, start watching this podcast on YouTube. Every single one of them will be on there. I believe this guy is getting more active on Twitter and always seems to have some bangers, or he's trying for the
Is it
pip.
Minwoo?
No, Minwoo is not on Twitter. It is Michael Kim.
Michael Kim.
So Michael Kim
right
at
there.
Mike_Kim714 is definitely a guy that is like trying hard on the Twitter, and he's trying to get his like name out there.
Because everybody's probably like, or he probably thinks that everybody knows who Tom Kim is. He needs to step up his.
I apparently don't
his
know
Kim game.
Yeah, his Kim game. His Kim game is.
He needs. This town's only big enough
these
for
Kims: Kim Kardashian, Mr. Kim, and then Michael Kim.
Are we talking Mr.
Fuck,
Kim?
Mary, kill.
Are we talking Mr. Kim, your liquor store?
No, I said Kim Kardashian.
You said Mr. Kim.
Oh, is that who's the dude from
That was
Hangover?
the dude who owned the liquor store. Didn't you call him it?
Yeah, Mr. Kim. That was the legend.
Yeah.
I bought liquor at 18 for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. I would probably put him at the top.
Maybe we might need to bleep that. Authority's coming for me.
No, I think you're fine.
That's like the 7th worst thing we've said in the last hour.
Yeah, 100%.
What's the guy from fucking
That's
Hangover?
Leslie Chow.
Chow, okay.
That's not close.
Chow Kim.
That's appropriation.
Whatever.
No, Kim Kardashian at the bottom.
At the bottom of you or at the bottom of
at
the
the bottom of the
kill?
list you just asked me to create.
Okay.
My God.
I said, okay, all right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, no, I think Tom and Michael are battling it out for the top Kim now on the PGA Tour.
And Tom's got the clear lead. So anyways, back to Michael Kim. He said, Michael Block got me thinking. Oh, that's a rough look. These guys can't, like, take a second to fucking proofread your tweet.
Well, he's like talking like the NBA players talk, like got me thinking.
Yeah, it could be. That's also another road we don't need to go down. My ideal player from current golfers. Off the tee, Cam Young. Approaching the green, Colin Morikawa. Around the greens, Patrick Reed with a laughing face, like a, ooh, like I said that.
Dude,
and putting Xander Schauffele. Can you think of a better player? And so we went in and we're thinking of a better player. We're thinking of a more fun player. And we have got, so we're going to start with driving the ball. And I copied my boy Michael, Cam Young. The dude.
Be creative.
The dude's averages 190 ball speed and swings it at 124 and tour averages 113.
No,
like he moves it and it's awesome to watch. I'm not going to bet on him ever again until he wins because he's pissed me off enough. But
He's right up at the top of the odds again this week. It's like, maybe people just love betting him, so they have to, make his odds a little tighter. But yeah, he's low-hanging fruit, the best driver of the ball on tour right now.
yeah, and he had to be there somewhere, so I was just like, all right, I want this.
No, I agree. I mean, but it's literally the list you got off Twitter. It's like, oh, you just snag the first name you see. Like, do some research, dog.
did.
You're
it.
like, oh, Cameron Young, great pick.
Oh, that's not
Very
nice.
clever of you. Very well thought out. So are we doing are you doing your whole player and then I?
No.
Okay. So my driver
1v1
now.
here. Yeah.
Okay. So my driver of the ball is Dustin Johnson. Hit you with some stats. Since 2011, basically till 2021 was the last time he played full time on the PGA Tour. He led strokes gained off the tee 3 times in 10 years. Pretty good. Rory was another guy that was up there, I think, with 3. And then actually, I never would vote for this guy or take him, but Bubba I think he had 3 in the last 12 years. So Bubba is a sneaky dude, and a lot of it's based on distance. You won't find a single dude on strokes gained driving off the tee that is short. You know what I mean? Like there's accuracy, and then there's distance, and then there's some combination of the two. And Dustin Johnson, for as long as I can remember, has just hit this bullet fade, and he knows exactly where it's going. Like he was like, I feel like the first dude to really introduce like distance and accuracy. Would you agree? Like he for me personally.
Yeah, the first guy that was truly dominant off the tee, where it's like, oh, another, here's a Kyle Berkshire. That guy hasn't made it past, any of the long drive guys.
Yeah,
never make it on tour for a reason. This guy was a guy that could put it all together, but especially off the tee, you're like, oh, this dude's insanely long. He's also insanely accurate.
Yeah, he has a clear advantage. Like he can take over a golf tournament basically just with his tee shots, because the kind of positions, like I remember him and Jordan Spieth in a playoff a few years ago, and I think he had like 30 or 40 yards on Spieth, and Spieth has gotten longer in the last year or so, but still, like the guy just drives the ball so well, and he just knows where it's going. So I had to go with DJ.
That's a great pick. Next, we're moving on to approaching the green. My guy's Tony Finau. Just a dude that hits a lot of irons really good, and he's always, he obviously his putter's like, yeah, he's kind of his driving is great, but it's not quite as accurate as he could be. But approaching the green, he's a top 10 guy in strokes gained approach every year, and he's starting to win smaller events. But I think his game, that's where he really excels. I'm a big approach the green iron guy, so I can get in with those guys. Kenny Finau is my guy.
You are an iron guy.
Except for this year, dude. My irons have been tragically bad. Everything I hit is left.
Yeah.
It's bad. I need a lesson.
So I would give you one, but you just don't fucking listen to me.
Probably true.
So my approaching the green is a guy who never hits it left with his irons. He definitely does with the driver. Max Homa hits a gorgeous little baby fade with all of his irons. The driver, I feel like, has gotten him in a bit of trouble. He's the last couple years been, I think this year right now he's 14th in strokes gained approach. So hitting the ball well last year. He's been in the top 40 the last 3 years. So not like low-hanging fruit here's Colin Morikawa. Everybody, he dominates all iron statistics. So I figured I'd give him a mention, but I just love Max has got like this exact same rhythm. Just hits a nice little buttery cut, bleeds those wedges in left to right. It's aesthetically pleasing to me, so I like it.
Yeah. We're moving to around the green. My guy is Justin Thomas. I feel like he has just such a buttery short game. And when talking around the green, I went a little bit more like out, I guess, like 20, 30 yards. He's just so good at making
great at like pitching the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually thought about Jordan Spieth here. He was kind of in my and I'm not necessarily saying he's just a good chipper, but I feel like he chips it in more than anybody on tour. I feel like
Scheffler.
Scheffler dunks one every
just
week.
Fills it up.
Yeah, but ironically, I don't think we picked anything here, but that was like the lame. Like we could have picked Scheffler or Rahm. For
build your golfer, Scotty Scheffler, the whole fucking way through.
One of the first replies.
He's leading in driving this year, actually.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
I mean, he's leading. He's fucking just a machine.
Overall strokes gained, he's leading everything.
But that's what somebody replied to that original Michael Kim tweet and said, "Tiger, tiger, tiger, tiger."
Yeah,
which probably
if you combined all the top strokes gained, like every single category, every different player, and because that's how they add up strokes gained like total. Is they take all the different metrics and add them up. Tiger's 2000 season is as high strokes gained as if you took every best guy this year. So he literally had the best driver, the best irons, the best short game, the best putting.
It's crazy.
Complete machine, but that's just another crazy Tiger stat. My around the green is I feel like he was a dude I had to have on there, and I knew you were going to have him for another reason, which I think you do. But Cam Smith, like his bunker game is unbelievable. That's kind of where I think of him, is like his bunker game just is so good. I remember him at the Masters a couple years ago, his pitch across the lake, just those 30, 40-yard pitch shots. And then we were watching him live in Tulsa. Like his wedge game is insane. He's so consistent. Like his game overall, like besides his driving is probably his least strong, because he's a great putter too. He's not my putter. So, but just Cam Smith's short game, I would give anything to. And I would say short game's generally my strength, but he would beat me up and down the golf course all day around the greens. So.
Yeah, you think Michael Block? I'm surprised Michael Block isn't on there for you. Just edging out Cam Smith.
I should have done that. Yeah.
Well, it is kind of crazy. We'll talk about Cam for just a sec. How good his short game is, both putting and chipping.
Yeah,
and he's he's good, but he wasn't like winning a ton when he was on tour.
Yeah.
It's so like you have to have everything to win and win consistently. And so
you got to driving
his irons just must be not that great either if he's that good.
No, I think his irons are pretty good. I think his driving really hurts him because he's not that long and he's pretty inaccurate, relatively speaking.
It's a bad
So when
combo.
he has a good driving week, that's like when he wins. Like TPC Sawgrass, what was that, 2 years ago? I think he won the Players. Like everything was dialed in. So yeah, I mean, it's just like anybody, you have one glaring weakness in your game and you do that well that week, you have a pretty good chance of winning.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. We'll just copy and paste the same name into the putting. That's Cam Smith. Watching him roll it in Oklahoma is just, it's a thing of beauty. He's got that old Scotty.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe, you know, the longer putts, I feel like he doesn't make a ton of like those 20, 30 footers that you see.
Inside
like,
10 feet.
But yeah, he does not miss,
yeah.
dude. I feel like, I don't know if it's just the way he reads it or if it's, you know,
his stroke is just automatic.
Yeah,
like,
you
never see him differ in tempo from his full swing all the way down to his short game to his putting. It's the same, like even the way he walks. And those are the difference you can tell with elite players is they just carry themselves the exact same way, like a basketball player, like, you know.
Nikola Jokic, they asked Michael Porter and they said, what's just one word to describe him? He said consistency. He has the same routine. He does the same things. He works on the same, like he just is in a groove. And Cam Smith, I actually learned from, I don't know if it was a golf article or a video, but I am trying to be consistent with his putting, not his stroke, because my stroke is god awful. It's just right in front of fucking rigs.
So what you're talking about is oh god, I forgot.
Aim point.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So he does aim point.
Took you long enough.
But then when he stands over it, he basically puts his left hand on his left thigh and has his right hand on the putter and looks at the line, puts his left hand on the club and goes. Like it's not a bunch of, you know, practice stroke, look up, look back, look, like it's just
routine.
A consistent routine.
Yeah. Routine is very underrated in golf, and I've even talked to Allie about her routine in golf before, just taking a practice swing every time, or, you know, on a practice chip, looking at the hole, picking a spot where you want to land it. Like, all that shit is so underrated because it just connects your brain to subconsciously make your body do what it wants it to do. So, yeah, the routine is huge, and Cam Smith is just super consistent all the way across the board on that.
Yeah. All right, your putter.
My putter is a dude that I generally don't love, but when he gets hot from distance, not a short putter, but when he's hot from distance, he's the best. He can gain them. I feel like he is the most to gain when he's putting well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like when I think there was something like when he went on his run in like 16, 17, he was making 20 to 30 footers. Like the average tour pro would make like a 7-footer.
Yeah,
like
I just
remember
some
insane fucking stat.
I remember the U.S. Did he win the U.S. Open?
Are you talking about the British, the Open
or
Championship?
The Open Championship. He was making like 20, like everything he looked at.
Yeah,
and he could hit the ball anywhere.
And yeah, putting is the ultimate equalizer, and we know statistically speaking, it's not always going to be great, like a law of averages. But when he is hot, the dude just like everything he looks at goes in. So I figured putting, I couldn't leave him off because he's at one point he was the best player in the world. Like he's struggling mightily. I think he's outside the top 100 in strokes gained putting this year, along with Morikawa, Justin Thomas, all these other dudes who we think of as elite. Like they're putting, and it goes back to like, I remember 15 years ago, Boo Weekley was first in ball striking in like 176 in strokes gained putting. And he probably had like a below average year. So ultimately, like ball striking is important, but you still gotta, if you really suck that bad at putting, it just nullifies anything you do well tee to green.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And vice versa. Like if you are good at putting, it nullifies everything you do tee to green.
Yeah, you can't make up for one aspect of your game with another, largely speaking. Like everything.
Like putting is the one that is the closest to
for sure
making up for hit. You could hit 3 god awful shots, barely landed on the green, be 40 feet away and make a putt, and it's a par. You know, it is the one part of the game that's just extremely important. Now we're gonna get to the extremely important things like hair, style, and personality. So hair. I did Ricky Fowler.
See, I figured you'd have Cam Smith here.
I was going to, but I didn't want to double him up. We all know that's like the Tiger thing. Cam Smith is obviously the best hair of anyone on on any tour.
No, that's
amazing. A fucking hands down. But I chose Ricky Fowler because of his like ability to change hairstyles. He used to have like the little kid look that we all had when we were 15. You get like the blowout, and like,
but he was like 23 at the time.
But everybody loved him.
Yeah,
and he had it under the big orange hat. And then now he's like got this like super like crisp cut with short, like he's been through the gamut of hair, but still solid.
No, he's definitely matured.
Cam was
well
obviously number one here.
Yeah, no, Ricky hasn't. He could have held on for too long on that hair, and he didn't. Like, he knew when to get rid of it. Like, I'm not.
It might have coincided with the time he got a girlfriend, started, getting married, all that stuff.
He's like, I got to grow up. There's no more bunk beds. There's no more bowl cuts. Like, I got to get an adult haircut. My hair, I'm going on the other end of the spectrum because he's been doing it as long as he's been around. The mechanic, for any of you who are familiar with Miguel Angel Jimenez, his game just in general, he walks around, smokes cigars like all the time during his round of golf. He's like a wine connoisseur. He basically he's like the most interesting man in the world, I feel like. And he's
the reason for Dos Equis.
Yeah, exactly. No, he should be Dos Equis spokesman. They whiffed on that. But he's got a long curly man bun, and he's the only dude I think that doesn't look like a douchebag with a man bun. So
sick.
Yeah. If anybody's seen Spencer's hair today, douche.
And if you haven't, check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Look at this.
No, the camera actually makes it look decent. I wouldn't recommend getting this close to it, but Miguel Angel Jimenez has looked the exact same for forever, and he's got a great mustache. His stretching routine, if you want to look up something that I actually use a few of his moves, I like drop it down on the. I figure
his moves on the dance floor.
Yeah, no, he does some wild shit on the driving range, all while smoking a stogie. So I just figured I had to get him in there. He's like the most interesting man in golf.
Yeah. All right. My next player is going to be John Daly, and the category is style. The loudmouths are just, they hit their peak when we were in high school. Like, I was rocking loudmouths. People thought they were stupid. Then they like kind of got cool. They're like, if you're that guy that wants to dress up with his buddies for a tournament, like, you get loudmouths. Like, that's the thing. Cause everybody can do a crazy shirt. Anybody can wear a crazy shirt. Crazy pants are those are a
statement. Yeah. No, they walked so every brand now could run, say Pins and Aces. Which segues me into my favorite style on tour, and that is Rafa Campos. He is a Pins and Aces staffer, so he rocks all the Pins and Aces stuff. I actually have seen him in a tournament in the shirt that Spencer has on. So he is the best styling dude out on the tour, got the best polos in the game, and he actually he had the story where I guess he like cut like 30 pounds. He was like sick of like being out of shape. It should inspire me, but it hasn't inspired me enough, clearly. But the Pins and Aces do look very good on him. So he represents the floral. He's got all the different crazy designs. Like, they didn't dial it back at all, and it just looks super good with all his logos on there. It's tough to beat.
Yeah, I think we're about maybe 5 to 10 years from a lot of like really good PGA Tour players wearing
crazier stuff.
Yeah, hopefully Pins and Aces.
Yeah, well, once the older school guys kind of get not phased out, but like the traditional stuff that like even kids our age grew up with. You know what I mean? Like, if you were in golf in the early 2000s, you were still wearing the leather shoes and the pants and not turtlenecks, like sweater vests and all that old school shit. It's more moving into the hoodies and the colorful polos and joggers, which I still don't love, but I can get down on it
because they're Pins and Aces.
Yeah, exactly. They make the best shit.
All right, last one, but certainly not least, personality of players on tour. I'm gonna go with Dustin Johnson. It's a fun one. Yeah, because like, I envy people that don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and he is ultimate.
You're just not smart enough to give a fuck.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think he's maybe like sneaky smarter than he acts, but like, his comment about hurting his back banging his wife was probably the best comment that I've heard in an interview since I've heard interviews.
Yeah.
And like, everybody knew what he was saying. He gave the
you don't get that shit on the PGA Tour.
No, absolutely.
Or was that the PGA
Championship?
Okay, was it a major? Is it a major? It doesn't count.
No, Dustin Johnson just has the ultimate DGAF. We used to use that all the time when we were kids. DGAF. Yeah. He doesn't care. He's dating Wayne, or married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter. He's a multimillionaire. He's the ultimate, like, just chill and seems like a cool dude. Like, that's the thing. He's not, like, uptight like that. Like, he's not like Patrick Cantlay like that. He's Dustin Johnson. So
yeah, I think he's making $107 million this year. So I think he's doing pretty well for himself. My personality is going to be Tyrrell Hatton, just because I love the way he acts on the golf course. I would say I'm somewhat similar, because I like to talk shit to myself when I'm out there. I have some creative names for what I call myself. And
hillbilly is my favorite.
Yeah.
Mitchell
white
calls
trash.
himself a hillbilly 5 times around.
Yeah. It's just my thing. I don't know.
And we can do that because we
necessarily
grew up with a lot of hillbillies.
Yeah, exactly. I know what a hillbilly looks like. And
front and center.
It's not necessarily me, but when I fucking thin shank a 4-iron, maybe it is. He's just very, very, like, he'll bitch about anything, because that's what I do. Like, I tow it a little bit and it's in the fairway, and I'm still saying that I towed it. So he was probably just my most relatable, I would say. And that's why I rolled with Tyrrell.
Understood. Well, that is our creative golfer. We are going to tweet this out and put it on our Instagram. If you're not following us there, at Big Drive Energy on Twitter, at Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. We're going to see who created the better golfer. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're following along with us, make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you get those: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and check out the YouTube so you get to see our sick outfits. Always wearing pins and aces. Enjoy the Memorial this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We're gonna have a couple guests on from that played in the USGA four ball out in Carolina. So we'll have them on. Carolina. We'll have them on next week. Enjoy the Memorial. We'll talk to you then. Peace.